Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Please repeat. Before reciting the Srīmad Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta Prayeshva Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So 2 points are very important here. Regular attendance on classes of Bhagavatam, and every day we have opportunity to do this at 6:30 a.m. and on Sundays in person over here. And the result of which is all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And most importantly, the loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is established as an irrevocable fact. Irrevocable means then I cannot take it back. So similarly, you'll get bhakti, loving service to Krishna, and no one can take it back. This is the only thing which will be eternal. Everything else in this material world will be destroyed. But the wealth of bhakti will always remain eternal. The verse for today is first Canto, Creation, 18th chapter, titled Mahārāja Parīkṣit faced by a Brāhmaṇa boy, and text number 15. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano. Mahattamaikanto Prarayanasya. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushatam no vitanotu vidvan. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano. Mahattamaikanto Prarayanasya. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushatam no vitanotu vidvan. Prabhus. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano. Mahattamaikanto Prarayanasya. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushatam no vitanotu vidvan. Susrushatam no vitanotu vidvan.
Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano.
Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano.
Mahattamaikanto Parayanasya.
Mahattamaikanto Parayanasya.
Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham.
Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushanam Vidatam Vidvan. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano. Mahattamaikanto Parayanasya. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushatam no vitanotu vidvam. Mataji's. Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano. Mahattamaikanto Parayanasya. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushatam no vitanoti vidvan.
Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano.
Tanno Bhavan Vai Bhagavat Pradhano. Mahattamaikanto Parayanasya. Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham. Susrushatam no vitanoti vidvan.
Tanno Bhavan
Mahāraja Harerudaram Charitam Vishuddham Shushrushatano Vidanotu Vidhan. What do it? Tat. Therefore, Naha, of us, Bhavan, your good self, Vai, certainly, Bhagavat, in relation with the personality of Godhead, Pradhanaha, chiefly, Mahattama, of greatest of all greats, Ekanta, exclusively, Narayanasya, of the shelter, Harehe, of the Lord, Udaram, impartial, Charitam, activities, Vishuddham, transcendental, Susrushatam, those who are receptive, Naha, ourselves, Vidanotu, kindly describe, Vidvan, all learned one. Translation by His loving divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. O Sutta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception. For we are anxious to receive each message, to receive such message. So here we are seeing that Sutta Goswami in the previous chapter has described the punishment and reward of Kali, on how after departure of Lord Krishna, Kali had infiltrated the earth. But Mahārāja Parīkṣit subdued the Kali Purusha. But because Kali Purusha took shelter of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, Parīkṣit Mahārāja, following the dharma of Kshatriya, the administrative class, and being devotee of the Lord and shelter of all population, gave certain places to Kali Yuga, which are namely where intoxication goes on, where gambling goes on, where meat eating goes on or killing of animal goes on, and where illicit connections go on. And apart from that, gold primarily earned through improper means, money laundering, or accumulation excessively without using it properly in service of Krishna. These are the residences of Kali Purusha. And we will see how that after the departure of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, Kali Purusha infiltrates further into all areas of the society through these 5 means. In this chapter, we will see how Mahārāja Parīkṣit is cursed by Brāhmaṇa boy. And of course, Mahārāja Parīkṣit is an elevated devotee of the Lord, so he can do no wrong. However, it is ordained by Krishna that there is a way that his pure devotee needs to be called back home, back to Godhead. So for that reason, some plan has to be executed which becomes an instrument or a means by which the pathway back to Godhead can be ascertained. So one thing we have to remember, that this material world is not a permanent place for our existence. We all try to make a permanent situation here. I remember Kadam Mahārāja, when we moved into our first home in Sydney, he conducted a home program, the inauguration program. And Mahārāja was very pleased when he came to our home because there was nothing at home, in the home. No furniture, not a single piece of furniture, no beds, nothing. Just the kitchen utensils and a vast open place where everyone could sit. Many friends, family members, work colleagues, we had invited. And then Mahārāja told this story, humorous story, of this funny character called Mr. Bean. Everyone knows Mr. Bean. So Mr. Bean goes into a hotel room and he opens his big briefcase, or rather bag, and from it, apart from his clothes, he pulls out all the heavy-duty tools, iron rods, saw to cut wood, hammer, nails, spanner, nut, balls. And immediately, he doesn't like the setting of the room, so he starts cutting the furniture and trying to do it in his own way. But guess what? How stupid is that? Because it's a hotel room and he will be just there for a day. And he's making all these adjustments. As if it's a permanent place. So through that story, Mahārāja was making a point. Actually, we all are doing the same thing. We are doing our activities in such a way as if we'll be in this world forever. But there is no such thing forever. Bhagavad Gita says, Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janmam mritasya cha. One who has died is sure to take birth again, and after birth, one is sure to die again. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam mritasya janma cha. Tasya parihayarten natum sochatum arhasi. So Krishna says that therefore in your inavoidable discharge of duty, O Arjuna, there is no need to lament. So we have to scan the span of our life. Meaning we have to know, yes, one day I will die. At most, what age I will live up to. And for that, whatever I need, that should be enough. Enough so that through that span of life, I am able to just have at least 2 meals a day, a roof over the head, and not an extraordinary life, meaning not over-endeavoring. Whatever comes without endeavor, that is fine. So, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, the extraordinary thing about Mahārāja Parīkṣit is that as soon as he heard about his fate, that he has been cursed to die within 7 days, he was able to give everything up. Now here, the Saunak Rishi heads the congregation of the hearers in Naimisharanya. And they are putting forward these questions to Sutta Goswami. So just a few words following this. Before this particular verse, we'll just look at the translation so we can better appreciate the context of the current verse. So the sages say, they are speaking to Sutta Goswami. The good sages said, O grave Sutta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame. For you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. Few things to note here is that they are hearing, but they are blessing. So it's like you all, I ask, please bless me. Why? Because they are eager to hear from Sutta Goswami about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is like a nectar for mortal beings. So when Shukadeva Goswami was beginning to recite Srīmad Bhāgavatam to Parīkṣit Mahārāja, then at that time all the demigods appeared with a pot of nectar. And they requested that you please give this Bhagavata Katha to us and this pot of nectar to Parīkṣit Mahārāja. So Shukadeva Goswami refused. And he said, if Parīkṣit Mahārāja wants to do it, it's up to him. So Parīkṣit Mahārāja asked Shukadeva Goswami, what's the difference between these two? The Amrita that Indra has got and the Kathamrita that you are about to give. So he said, the Amrita will take you to heaven. And up to the time of dissolution, you won't die. But this Bhagavatamrita will give you the love of Godhead and take you to the planet of Lord Sri Krishna, where you will reside forever. So what do you want? So Parīkṣit Mahārāja rejected Indra's proposal, even though that proposal was that he could be here on this earth for eternity, almost the time till the dissolution. But he agreed to leave his material body, knowing that this is an impermanent situation, and accept the Bhagavatamrita. And the sages of Naimisharanya have similar mood. Therefore, they are saying to Sutta Goswami, we are eager to hear about Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, Krishnasya, Martyanam, those who are about to die, we all. Amritam, eternity of life, he certainly naha, our. So, Krishna Kathamrita gives us eternity of life. In the second verse they say, we have just begun the performance of these fruitive activities, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result, due to many imperfections in our actions. Our bodies have become black from smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. So they are saying, we are actually stupid because we are engaging in this 1,000-year sacrifice and doing this yagna and putting the ahutis in the yagna. But we haven't got anything. No result is coming. What a waste. The only reason is what? Our face has gone black due to the smoke of that. But you are distributing the nectar of Krishna Katha, and that is very pleasing. The value of moments association with the devotee of the Lord cannot be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. So moments association of devotees is very important. Why? Because those devotees who are imbued with the intensity of Krishna Bhakti, they can impart it onto us, especially through the oral reception means. When they speak, very nicely there is a verse Prithu Maharaj says, Sa uttama shloka janesh, sa uttama shloka mahat mukhachuto. The mahat, and this is one of the words mentioned in the current phase we are discussing, that mahattamai kanta parayanasya, that mahatmas who are parayana means only taking Krishna's shelter and dependent on Krishna's shelter, ekanta, their only shelter is Krishna. So, Sauttama Shloka, Mukha, Mahat, then they are glorifying Krishna. Sauttama Shloka, Mahat Mukhachito, Bhavat Padambuja Sudhakanalina. So this Bhavat Padambuja, the cycle of ocean of birth and death, is plundered. How? Shudakanalinaha. Because on Krishna's lotus feet, there is saffron messy particles, Prabhupada translates. So just imagine Krishna's lotus feet. Now he's in Tribhangi form. And strewn on Krishna's lotus feet is saffron messy particles. And the gandha, smell of that aroma of Krishna's lotus feet is magnificent. Now, every Sunday morning we have darshan of Shri Shri Radha Giri Govardhan Dhari. And we see our Pujari Vishwambar Prabhu very nicely and lovingly does the service. And as soon as he opens the curtain, such a wonderful aroma from the flowers, from tulsi leaves, and the scent he has put on the Lord comes. And what does all that do? Bhagavad Katha, what does all that do? It says, Bhavat padam bhuja shudakanalinaha smritir punaha vismriti tattva vartmani. Our smriti, remembrance of Krishna, vismriti, which we had forgotten, punaha, is again established. Therefore, ku yoginam no vitiratu kim alam varai. Prithu Maharaj says that I am not a devotee, ku yogi. I am a ku yogi, non-devotee. And since I am a non-devotee, vitarati tum alam varai. What more benediction do I need but to hear about Bhagavad Katha? Prabhupada in the paper says, although the sound vibration of the words of a pure devotee may seem non-different from the ordinary sound, however, it is imbued with the transcendental vibration of Krishna's glories. And because the pure devotee of the Lord has access to the lotus feet of Krishna, when the pure devotee speaks, he unsettles the saffron messy particles on the lotus feet of Krishna. And through the air of Vedic sound, those saffron messy particles enter the ears of the hearers. And through the channel of the ears, those saffron messy particles enter the courtyard of the hearts. And immediately, smritir punaha vismriti tattva vartmani, that relationship with Krishna, which the devotee had forgotten, is punaha, is again established. And this is the result. So, Agrees, Hedarpi Mataji gave a very wonderful class on this verse. And I would, request, devotees to please go back to the YouTube channel harekrishnatempeburbank, and hear this particular verse class, where very nicely she explained how in Madhurya Kadambani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that it is the pure manifested bhakti in a devotee's heart and the intensity of devotion, it actually rubs off, and it is the cause of bhakti in our hearts. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti. Another devotee who is fully imbued in bhakti. So bhakti everyone has. We all have bhakti. But the difference is the bhakti in most circumstances is dormant. But as stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishna Bhakti Nitya Siddha Sadhya Kavonai. Krishna Bhakti is Nitya in our hearts. Nitya Siddha Sadhya Kavonai. We cannot get it from some place external. Like the firewood already has fire in it. In science we studied this, isn't it? That it is called potential energy. Or fire energy, what is it called? It's a potential energy, it says. Why? Because that potential is already there. But when it is put with fire, then that potential energy becomes manifest. Kinetic energy, becomes manifested. So similarly, bhakti is already there. We cannot get from external places. But like the fire is put near the firewood, then only that firewood's fire is manifested. Similarly, when the devotee whose bhakti is dormant, but inside is put in close proximity to another devotee whose bhakti is manifested, then that bhakti is manifest into that dormant devotee's heart. How? Sravanadi suddha chitto karohu udai. By this process of shravana and kirtana, hearing or through pure devotee. As Prabhupada says, the sound vibration may seem material, but the articulation is fully imbued with saffron massive particles because Krishna is already manifest in that devotee's heart. So it is not that devotee is speaking, Krishna is speaking through the devotee. Then the sages go on to say, the personality of Godhead Lord Krishna Govinda is exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar rasa ever be fully satiated by hearing the topics about him? So 2 points are particularly important in this verse. Firstly, that Krishna Katha will never give us satiation. What does it mean? Satiation means?
We will satisfy. We will ask for more and more.
Yeah, we will ask for more and more.
I said satisfied, satiation.
It's saying satisfaction, not satisfaction. But
Not
isn't-
quenching the taste, not quenching whatever you're looking for. You want
Okay, more.
So when we have it, we want more of it.
Yeah, when we have it, we want more. So when we have it, we are satisfied, but we want more. It's very contradictory. But the thing is, yes, we can have more. Why? Because Krishna is unlimited. But material things, we want more, we cannot have it more. Because our appetite is only limited. Now yesterday was Nirjala Ekadashi, so some boys, young boys, tried to do nirjal. So some could not do so. Some drank juice or water. One boy came to our home and he saw gulab jamuns been cooked for Mangal Arati. And he said, Mataji, is this Ekadasi gulab jamun? I don't think there is such thing as Ekadasi gulab jamun unless, Gujaratis can improvise even that probably. That's a challenge for you guys to come up with Ekadasi gulab jamun, perhaps. But the point is, even if you have gulab jamuns, how much can you have? You'll get sick after a point in time. Because everything in material world is diminishing. It's called diminishing marginal utility. You have one gulab jamun, you feel pleasure. You have second, but the pleasure of the second is less than the first. Then you have third, the pleasure of the third is less than the first and second, and it goes on until you reach a point that you eat another gulab jamun, you will feel sick. But Krishna Nam is not like that. How many devotees feel, that after you have chanted your 16 rounds, you feel like chanting more? 1, 2, 3.
The chanting is of quality.
Yeah, that's the point. If chanting is attentive chanting, then after we finish 16 rounds, we feel like doing more. Are we satisfied? We are satisfied. Do we want more? Yes, we want more. Can we have more? Yes, we can have more. Therefore, the good news in spiritual life is there is no limit to pleasure. That only applies to material life. There is diminishing marginal utility. But in spiritual life, it is increasing pleasure utility. It is always increasing, always increasing. Therefore, one can go on and on and on and on and on, be satisfied, but not being satiated, meaning not being like enough, that you can have more. And therefore, the spiritualist who take this process of devotional service, they only can be happy. Because in true sense, they are experiencing happiness, and then also the second point is, it is never boring. Why? Because they can have more pleasure. In the material world, when you have something, after a while, you become bored with it. But this principle does not apply for spiritual. Then the second point is that Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, the transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So the Lord is unlimited, Ananta. But we are limited. We have Anta. So how can an Anta glorify Ananta? So it can only happen when Ananta invests and infuses that quality of the person being able to describe. So Sud Goswami, although he expresses his lack of qualification after the next few verses, no, I'm a Suta. Suta means mixed caste, and that too, not Anulom, Pratilom. Pratilom means born from a Kshatriya father and Brahman mother. Usually the male should be higher. So Brahmana male, then can be Brahmana wife or Shudra wife or Kshatriya wife or Vaishya wife. But Kshatriya man, Brahmana wife, that's called Pratilom. It's not favorable. So he gives all his disqualifications. But his one qualification is what? That he heard Srimad Bhagavat Katha from Sri Shukadeva Goswami, and he was personally blessed by Lord Balram to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. Although his father, Mahārāja, was killed by Balram, because when he was glorifying the Lord through Srimad Bhagavatam, now Mahārāja, the meaning of Mahārāja is he was so qualified that even he was speaking so ecstatically that his body, hairs on his body were standing, no? Out of ecstasy. Roma means no, Roma, Harshani means of happiness, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai Shri Shri Radha Girivardhanari ki. So, Roma Harshani, so when he was speaking, he was feeling so ecstatic himself. So just imagine the effect he would have on audience. But still, all that qualification, when Supreme Personality of Godhead in form of Lord Balram came, he did not stand up to give respect. So everything is meant for Krishna. And Lord Balram is first expansion of Krishna, almost non-different from Krishna. A few years ago, this YouTube video of Radhesham Prabhu from Pune. He comes to give class, morning Bhagavatam class, and he must have been tired. So he came, he sat down, head down, started doing the Mangalacharan, and but he did not realize that his spiritual master, Radhanath Swami, was sitting on the floor below his elevated Vyasasan seat. So as he was doing Mangalacharan, Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yuta, his eyes opened and he looked, Mahārāja is there. Immediately he jumped up from the Vyasasan and Dandavat pranams, he fell down. He stood up and said, Mahārāja, my pranams, how can I speak? You are here. And Mahārāja just blessed him, hugged him. And all the devotees, they started laughing, because the way it happened. But here we see what Roma Harshani does not get up from the elevated seat when he should have. And Lord Balram, to correct that situation, that yes, we may be very Brahmanical, we may recite Bhagavatam in and out, all these verses we may be doing. We may be very pakka in following all the rules and regulations of Pujari. We may be an expert cook, but the purpose of it is what? Only and only to please Krishna, nothing else. If we are sidetracked just for the purpose of doing that thing without connecting it with Krishna, the purpose, then it is of no use. It is not anukulya, it is patikula. It is going in another direction. Lord Balram with a kusagrass, they just killed Roma Harshani. And when the sages said, now how will we hear Bhagavad Katha? Then Lord Balram blessed his son, Sudha Goswami, to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sudha Goswami, is well qualified because of this because his only purpose is to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then to today's verse translation, O Sutta, you are learned and pure devotee of the Lord because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. See, this is the main thing. The Supreme Personality of Godhead should be the chief object of service. So when we are cooking, when we are cleaning, when we are worshipping, when we are singing, when we are playing the musical instrument, our endeavor should be that yes, this is for pleasure of Krishna, not mine. You know, when they do yagna, what do they say? What is that? When the poet, Swaha, Krishna, Idam Mama, Idam Krishna, Idam Nama, Idam Krishna, Idam Na Mama. So means this is for Krishna. Idam Krishna, Na Mama, not for me. So when we do bhakti, yeah, of course we will feel the pleasure. But no, this is for Krishna, not for me. So here we see, Sud Goswami, you are learned and pure devotee of Lord because personality of God is your chief object of service. The word means Mahattama Mahattamaikanta Parayana Sya. Mahattamaikanta Parayana Sya. Chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of Lord. So only that person can properly describe the pastimes of Lord whose object is Krishna, which are above all material conceptions, for we are anxious to receive such message. And then the qualification of the hearers also is given. That, yes, we are eager to hear. So over here it is said, Harer Udaram Charitam Visuddham. So Hari Krishna, his Charitam is Udaram. Very, very exalted. And it is transcendental, Vishuddham. Susrushatam, those who are receptive, Naha, ourselves, Vitanuta, kindly describe with one, O learned one. So we are eager to hear the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, and we are anxious to receive such message. So, whatever our services may be, we should arrange our services in such a way that at least at the time of Srīmad Bhāgavatam hearing, we are here. This is the prime method. Shopping after Bhāgavatam. Vegetable shopping after Bhāgavatam or before Bhāgavatam. But by the time Bhāgavatam starts, no, here. Why? Because this will align our activities towards Krishna. This is this alignment is very important. If we don't hear Bhāgavatam daily, the risk is the material energy is so strong, it will divert us. It will divert us into other things. But Srīmad Bhāgavatam, it will realign, even though if we become diverted, it will realign us. No, focus on Krishna. Srīmad Bhāgavatam provides that focus. Vasudeva para Veda. Veda on its own is not important. It is only important because the subject of the Veda is to know Krishna. Vasudeva Paramakaha. The sacrifices on its own, just putting ahuti in fire is not important. It is only important because Krishna is the object of the sacrifice and it's for his pleasure. Vasudeva Parayoga. Yoga on its own, just doing gymnastics or getting the flexibility, on its own is not important. It's only important so that ultimately the body be in a condition so we can concentrate properly on Krishna without deviation. Vasudeva Parakriyaha. All our activities are useless until and unless Vasudeva Arpanam Sakshat. It is offered to Vasudeva. The Kriya, everything we do, until and unless it's offered to Krishna, it becomes a source of bondage. Yagna, what is that? Yagnartha karmanotya anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. 3.9 Krishna says that if that activity we do not offer to Krishna, yagna means what? Offering to Krishna, kriya. Lokoyam karma bandhana. It becomes a bandhan. It binds us in the cycle of birth and death. So Krishna tells Arjuna, tad artha karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So tad artha, for his satisfaction, you do your karma. And by doing that, mukta sangha samachara, you'll be liberated. Vasudeva param jnanam. This jnanam, this knowledge of scriptures or Srīmad Bhāgavatam, the object is to know Krishna, Vasudeva. Vasudeva param tapaha. So Vasudeva paratapaha, austerity is meant for his satisfaction, his pleasure. If that austerity becomes an obstacle in the process of devotional service, then that austerity is not anukul, it is pratikul, it is unfavorable. So, we have to bear in mind all these things. Yes, yesterday was Nirjala Ekadashi. But if we had services for pleasure of Krishna and the devotees, and if doing Nirjal meant that we won't be able to do our service properly, then with permission of the Vaishnavas, we should be doing Nirjal. We should take some water, we should, take, whatever keeps our body in a condition where we can do the service properly. Because it is for Krishna. That is actually austerity. Other than that, it is just, yes. Intention may be good. Everyone's intention is good. But still, the devotional path means walking on razor's edge. You see, the intention is good. But slight deviation causes a cut. The karma can't, no problem. It is described as a royal path, means that path is wide and long, you can close your eyes, walk, nothing will happen. But devotional service is razor's edge. So we have to be very, very careful. Na idam mama, not for me. Not so that I can do, this fasting for my purpose. No, it is for pleasure of Krishna and for the service of Krishna. That is more important. Vasudeva param tapaha. Vasudeva paro dharmo. Religiosity even is for knowing Krishna. And if that religiosity is somehow the other is an obstacle in going to Krishna, then even that is to be rejected. That's why Krishna says in the last verse, Sarva dharmam parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. Then abandon all varieties of religion. What does it mean? It means all these things that keeps us away from Krishna in the name of religiosity. No, Krishna is the only object. This is called Krishna Parayana or Vasudeva Parayana. Vasudeva Paragatihi. The Paragatihi, the supreme goal of our life should be Krishna. Now this verse will help us align each and every of our activity. Whether we have inclination for yoga, whether we have inclination for karma, whether inclination for knowledge, without inclination for religiosity, without inclination for having some KPIs, some goals, or whether we are inclined towards performing sacrifices. We can call this an alignment verse. It appears in 2nd chapter of Bhāgavatam. Let's read the purport. The speaker on the transcendental activities of the Lord should have only one object of worship and service, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the audience for such topics should be anxious to hear about Him. When such a combination is possible, namely a qualified speaker and a qualified audience, it is then and there very much congenial to continue discourses on the transcendence. So both the speaker and the hearers, their intention should be the same. And that's when actually the rasa becomes manifest. Professional speakers and materially absorbed audience cannot derive real benefit from such discourses. I was recently in Somnath in April, and there after we spoke, we had katha. Then one person from audience came, and he for 1 year had been coming to our ISKCON temple in Somnath, center in Somnath. And he said, last week my family had organized a Bhagavatam Saptaha, so I had to go there and, but hearing 1 hour of katha here is no comparison to what we hear there. There it is just lokik, meaning just to please the populace. Krishna is totally absent, and what they are speaking we don't know. They are going just cutting around the corners. Why? Because the purity of intention is not there. Focus is not Krishna. Focus is like, oh yeah, we had Bhagavatam Saptaha. Oh yeah, we had for 7 days. Or for the speaker, yes, I'll get some remuneration. But Prabhupada had emphasized this point. No, it's Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. It's every day, regular. And the intention is Krishna, no remuneration for the speaker. The speaker, whatever, glories the speaker gets, he offers this to his spiritual master and Krishna. It's all coming from them. And even if some Lakshmi comes, then the speaker accepts it and then distributes it for further propagation of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, one's intention will be tainted. As far as material maintenance is concerned, Krishna will maintain. One does not have to, work just for money, just for like that. Krishna surely will maintain. Avasya raksive Krishna, Vishvasa Palana. We have experience. There never has been any lacking. Krishna provides. When, sometimes we travel and we get Lakshmi, and that Lakshmi immediately we give it away to the local temple president or to the local yatra to, use it in service there. Professional speakers make a show of Bhagavad Sapta for the sake of family maintenance, and the materially disposed audience hears such discourse of Bhagavad Sapta for some material benefit, namely religiosity, wealth, gratification of senses, or liberation. Such Bhagavatam discourses are not purified from the contamination of the material qualities. But the discourses between the saints of Naimisharanya and Sri Sudha Goswami are on the transcendental level, because both are interested in Krishna. There is no motive for material gain. In such discourse, unlimited transcendental pleasure is relished by both the audience and by the speaker, and therefore they can continue the topics for many thousands of years. See, for 1,000 years they were doing yagna. They said, this is no use. Only thing that happened is our face became black. But 1,000 years they can go on hearing and speaking about Krishna, but still they don't become tired. Swadu, swadu, pade pade. Because the nectar increases with every step. Tadeva ramyam ruchiram navam navam. The pleasure, ramyam, ruchiram, the taste, navam navam, newer and newer taste we get by hearing Krishna Katha. Why? Because Krishna is unlimited. If you concentrate or speak about something material, then that's limited. Now, Bhagavad Saptas are held for 7 days only, and after finishing the show, both the audience and the speaker become engaged in material activities as usual. But our purpose is, when we walk out the door from here, we don't want to get engaged or implicated in material activities. How we carry that consciousness outside, that is more important. And so, yes, constant realignment is needed, because outside the Maya can capture us and engage in her service. They can do so because the speaker is not Bhagavata Pradhana and the audience is not Susru Shatam as explained above. So speaker has to be Bhagavata Pradhana, that Krishna is their sole objective, and the audience has to be Susrushatam, eager to hear about Krishna only, and not material subject matters. Any questions or comments, Prabhu's, Mataji's?
During the process, sometimes we may face some obstacles, we may face some painful experiences as well in executing the service. But as far as we remember that the joy is for Krishna, then we'll carry on and execute the service properly. Like we see in the Damodar Lila, for example. And even the Mother Yashoda frankly goes through some difficulties and challenges, but she was giving pleasure to Krishna. But in the end, she also got some pleasure.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for such a nice realization. Yes, as Prabhu said, that in process of doing the devotional service, obstacles may come, we may go through difficulty, but if we are able to have this faith, Krishna is unlimited. So Krishna can remove unlimited obstacles. And Krishna also likes to test. So no, let us do it. I remember, I know we have like many devotees here, Sakirai Prabhu, no matter how, the week is like so 3 or 4 bhakti pictures, Saturday program, but still he comes here for morning Bhagavatam class and then goes for Harinam, and then in the evening, there is programs. And devotees half his age are not able to do even half of what he is doing. And many devotees like that we see, we go on. Why? No, not for hours, because and do you see him complaining? No, he's always happy, making others happy. So this joy comes. Yes, our internal battles may be there, our own mind, our body, mind may be saying, oh, you've done enough. But still, no, Krishna, I want to do this for you. So we get immense power from Krishna. I was hearing a class this morning, and there, Brahmananda Prabhu, he mentions that from morning, 2 o'clock, Srila Prabhupada, after waking, was translating Srīmad Bhāgavatam, and then doing his chanting, and then doing the, all the services, Bhagavatam class, and then programs and meetings, one after the other, traveling long distance, and late in the evening, one program finished. And Srila Prabhupada, very late at night, then was coming home. And then Prabhupada and Brahmaṇa, they were sitting on the back of the car. And Brahmaṇanda Prabhu said that Srila Prabhupada just dozed off and put his head on Brahmaṇanda Prabhu's shoulder. Brahmaṇanda Prabhu is a very big person. And then after a while, Srila Prabhupada further fell and had his head on Brahmaṇanda Prabhu's lap. And Brahmaṇanda Prabhu was thinking that each and every portion of energy that Srila Prabhupada was spending daily was for Krishna only. And although his body, he was pushing it, but who can say Prabhupada was not joyful? He's giving that joy to others. If he is not himself joyful, he can't give to others. If we are not joyful, we can't make others happy. But he was doing that. Did he face obstacles? Yes, many, many obstacles. Our Guru Mahārāja describes once, when first time Prabhupada went to an African country, I don't know which country it was, then there, Prabhupada had washed his clothes and dried it up outside his room. And after the Mangalarti morning bath, he went to get those clothes, but he could not find the clothes there. And then anyway, whatever old clothes were, Prabhupada wore it, and then he went down to the temple room for Mangalarti. And then he sees, one by one, the devotees coming there and they are wearing Prabhupada's clothes. So any ordinary person, takes little of our, like, oh, it's mine, Prabhupada, just shook his head. Jai Vidira Krishna, whatever Krishna wants. And to spread Krishna's name, yes, I'm prepared to do everything, lose everything, that's fine. Now, such is the one-pointed attention, Yes, actually, obstacles are good. Obstacles in devotional service are the best thing one can have. Prabhupada took so much effort, he said, I was failure in my family life, failure in business, failure in able to make devotees in India. But still, he wasn't a failure in his determination. He traveled in the Jaladuta, 2 heart attacks. I can't speak for you guys, but if I was there, as soon as the boat landed, I would book my ticket back. But Prabhupada, no. The captain of the ship said to him, Swamiji, you are old, you are all alone, what will you do in this country? Prabhupada looked around and said, I am not alone, Krishna is with me. And he, captain of the ship, Captain Pandya, he actually writes in his memos, and I saw the little Bengali Swami disappear into the streets. And obstacles actually make us more closer to Krishna when we keep at it. So, Krishna is bringing us closer. Because Krishna is making us break all other bondages and only rely on Him. And it is a happy situation. Difficult, but joyful. That difficulty also becomes a joy in due course of time.
I hope I heard this properly. Because I've heard a few classes where we talk about devotional service is the razor part, razor edge part or something, right? You say. But when you preach, you say it's a very easy process. So I'm just seeing the contradiction.
Yes, for anyone who comes new, we said that. But it is an easy process. It is actually very easy. But the problem is, despite it being easy, our alignment is not there. The difficulty is aligning our own minds. What example can I give? For the child, Prabhupada gives this example, to inherit the wealth of the father is very easy. Only 2 things he needs to do. Be with the father and stay alive. Outlive the father. Then everything is his. So for devotees also, it is said, Alasyam vyapaniya bhakti sulabham. Devotional service is very easy. But due to our laziness, we are diverting away from path. So he says, give up laziness. If you give up laziness, then even though obstacles may come, very easily you can go over it. Not difficult. Actually, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. I mean, you are also, if anyone you knows it, because, in Saturday night, you rushing, you take Radhagiri Gorandhari, then most of us come at 4:30, but you have to be before 4, and then in the evening program also, you fully participate, clean, cook, but still you are so happy.
I just heard what you said, the example you gave, Prabhu, you said about that the son has to just outdo the father to get the property. But at the same time, if you get the property and you don't know how to focus, then you just lose it. You become lazy. This is very common.
Yes, that's why Bhagavad Katha is very important, because it will constantly align. And its razor's edge means it's very thin. Basically it means it's very easy for us to get diverted, but Bhagavatam will keep us focused. And that's what the whole journey is about. Yes, sometimes we'll slip, no problem. Hear Bhagavatam, hear from devotees, realign. Trajectory, as we said many times, may be like this, but it's going upwards. Constant realignment. Wheel alignment, otherwise accident will be there. Jai Grantraj Srimadbhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So this evening's 4:30 program, Kirtan and Peace, has been sponsored by Harsh Prabhu. We'll be celebrating his birthday this afternoon. It's today. Please wish him and bless him and come in the evening. And there's nice feast been prepared by Mataji's as well. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Giridhari ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande, Gaur Bhakta.